Hey, happy Sunday. This is about the fourth time I've done this video. I should know it off by heart by now, but I just can't seem to get it right. So, are you the kind of person that is feeling like you're not good enough right now? Going through one of those? Yeah, I thought you might be. I don't think you'd be watching this if you weren't. So, yeah, it's something that everybody goes through, and I did want to address it because it's something that triggered me yesterday, and it triggered me late at night before I went to bed and I couldn't sleep, and hence the reason why I've got bags under my eyes and I look like I've been dragged through a hedge backwards. But I wanted to talk to you about it because we all get into those states, and I know how I talked myself down, and it might help you if you get into that. Now, if you come from a background of abuse and bullying, like me, then you will recognize that state of sheer on panic where you shut down. Your nervous system goes into shutdown. You might recognize that even if you're not, if I'm honest, if you've had any kind of wounding that has done that to you and you've been triggered by it later on, you will get it. That sense where your nervous system shuts down, you shut the whole world out and you can't get you back. You just it's like the computers have the blue screen of death, that we have panic attack modes. That's our blue screen of death. Um and you have to, you need to talk yourself out of that. If you're anything like me, if anybody tries to get me out of that situation by making me feel better, I can get very angry because I'm still acting out of wounding. It's still triggering me. Okay. So for me, if I get into that situation, the best thing to do is leave me alone. I will talk myself out of it. I will come down and then I'll be far more rational. I don't get these moments very often, if I'm honest, not anymore. So this was way out of the blue. I was not expecting it. I did not expect this to happen. And I think the older you get, the more that you more you relate to that. You're like, no, I didn't really expect my moment to happen like that either. So the best thing you can do when you get like that is, when you're in full on panic and you can feel the fear and there is nothing getting through, is look around you and go, right, table, door, wall, floor, cushion, cat, dog, window. Start talking out loud, start naming what you can see around you. Sounds stupid, but it resets the mind. The mind starts to refocus on the physical realm and not on the ego panic, because it is ego panic. You're not in danger, okay? You've just gone into fear mode, okay? And there's nothing wrong with that. That's okay. It's part of human life. We've all gone into modes like that where our mouth has gone dry. We're just panicking. Okay? So start talking out loud and naming what you can see around you, and start breathing. If you can take a nap or go for a walk, that will help to reset your nervous system. Okay? So, and that's what you want, because it's your nervous system that's reacting to a dangerous situation that isn't there. False evidence appearing real, fear. Okay? You're not about to be run over, I'm assuming. You're not about to be eaten by a lion. You're not about to be killed by a crazy axe wielding murderer or something like that. So, just breathe, bring yourself back. It does help to talk out loud. I know I keep talking about this, but it really helps, because the sound of your voice will have you listening to you, which is what you want. Okay? You want your rational mind to take over, not your ego mind, not your fear. Okay? Once you can get yourself to the point where you're listening to your own voice, you then need to start going through your situation gently, because you want to bring yourself back to your point of truth, because that's your baseline. Okay? Who you are fundamentally is who you are fundamentally, and you are perfect just as you are. There's no fault with you. Okay? We live in a society that's based on social climbing and greed, because that's what money does. Okay? We all base ourselves on how we look, fundamentally. We don't always base ourselves on how we feel. It's always about how we look. Whether you're good enough for the person over there, whether you're good enough for that job. So, in terms of a job, you're either going for a job that is too you're shooting higher than your experience can take you, or you're fundamentally up against human nature and maybe the interviewer doesn't like you. That's, again, nothing to do with you. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just they're letting their own personal feelings affect their job, and they shouldn't be doing that. They should be basing it on your experience and how you convey that experience, not whether they like you. However, they could be saving you from a fate worse than death, because there's nothing worse than being locked into a job with people who don't gel with you. Okay? And the same for interpersonal relationships. Just because the person is opposite to you doesn't mean to say, like, especially me, okay? So I'm a healer, I'm an intuitive, I've been extremely sensitive all my life, like really sensitive. Like when I was a child, I was sensitive to sneezes. Like people sneezing would scare me when I was a toddler. That's how sensitive I was, okay? I've learned to turn that into intuitive abilities. I've learned to use that to read the energies of a situation, and I've learned to do that consciously, and that's what we're trying to get to, is a conscious recognition of this situation. Okay, it's a conscious recognition of your place in this situation. So you might be highly attracted to a person who is not in your normal sphere of influence. They're not your normal type. Okay, they're not that, i.e., they're not the type of, that your ego may be going for, or that your friends and family think are the right thing because maybe you're driven by your friends and family. Okay, but you're highly attracted to that person, but there's something about them that triggers you into believing, well, I really like that person, but I'm not like that person. I don't have that skill set. I don't know how to relate to that. But they're not, there's more to people that, than that. So it's talking to yourself like this and going, okay, so I don't know that person. Okay, so maybe they don't have the same job as me, or I'm not into that kind of thing as them. But that's a good thing, you know? That's openness. Being open to new experiences is a wonderful thing. And getting to know people who aren't necessarily your type is a good thing. Um, so maybe they surround themselves with, if they're particularly materialistic and they surround themselves with, you know, certain, say, models, very, very beautiful, physically beautiful people with physically beautiful clothes, physically beautiful cars, physically beautiful, you get the, and you're not like that. You go for more, for what a person is like, how they can treat you, whether they make you laugh or not, then, maybe you need to readdress that situation. Um, but it's always about coming back to you and who you are and your truth, and standing there and going, these are the fundamental things that I am. I can't change this necessarily. I can't change my physical looks. This is how I am. I have a specific personality. Yes, I can learn to be more open. Yes, I can learn to laugh more. Yes, I can learn to relax more. you know. Um, but you matter. Fundamentally, you matter. And what you give out, you attract back. Okay? The more you can stand in your truth, the more you can learn to say, well, this is me, and I might want that really, really, really badly. And I'm going to try my hardest to work towards that. I'm going to try my hardest to get to know that person and see where this goes. I'm going to try my hardest to get that job. I'm going to look at all my experience and I'm going to go for it. It's triggering me now because it's triggering a wound from something in the past. That's not the present. You've grown since that time. You've become a different person since that time, depending on how far away that was. Okay? If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out, but you have at least tried. And that's the point. You've gained experience. But if you don't try, you will never know. And that's worse. That's far worse. And it's talking to yourself like this and being rational about it. Go through every point, from the wackiest thing that you can think of, the wackiest, like, you know, the wackiest reason why you and that person would not be a good fit, or you and that job would be not a good fit, right the way through to the most probable one. And remember, you're in trigger mode, so you're going to be thinking negatively. I need you to think positively as well. I need you to think about your positive points of view, about what kind of positive traits you have, as well as your negative traits. You need to get to that point where you're bringing yourself back to rationality, back by standing in your truth. Because life makes no mistakes. It's just experience. It's just life trying to explore itself. And that sounds really condescending and demeaning when you're in a trigger mode. And trust me, I tried that with myself last night, and it really does. Okay? You have to work out if you having a panic attack is worth walking away from this situation on. That's your truth. Are you willing to lose this situation through your wounding? Or are you willing to work on yourself so that you can work through it and maybe, just maybe, make something fundamentally different and amazing happen? Okay, there's many, many different reasons. I can't cover them all in this video as to why you would be triggered by something, but know that your triggering is from a wound in the past. It's not now. And what you are trying to do is bring yourself back to the present moment. Okay? You need to bring yourself back to the present moment. You need to bring yourself back to present consciousness so you consciously make a decision based on what you are right now as a person, not based on your wounding from the past. Okay? And most of all, you need to know that you are worth it. Everything. You're relevant, you're valued, no matter who you are or what you've done. You are relevant to life, you are relevant to this world, and you need to be relevant to you. And I'm sending you lots of hugs. And trust me, you know, if you weren't so prickly like me, I'd give you one. You know what I mean? I hope this makes sense. It is Sunday, and I have just talked myself out of exactly the thing I'm talking about right now. So if it doesn't make sense, let me know, and I'll try to redo it. But other than that, lots of love, lots of hugs. Be safe, be good, don't wreck the place.